Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's your boy SoSo, in case you ain't know so, and welcome back to another dope episode of Sports with SoSo. Coming to you live, y'all. This week, the Dolphins make a big mess on Monday Night Football. The Heat are continuing to win games while struggling on offense, and the Panthers are riding a 3-game winning streak. It's time to take a ride, y'all. Let's go! Yeah. We live. What's up, my brother?
Back in the lab.
You know it.
What's going on? How you doing? How you living?
I'm not doing okay.
We're not doing great.
It's
difficult to do this right now, knowing the topics of discussion that are at hand.
And look, we talked about it yesterday on OnlyFans, right? Which is out right now. You guys can go watch it on our YouTube channel. But like it still hasn't hit how bad that performance was last night, right? And why it came about. You can point to injuries, you can point to missed opportunities, you can point to bad play calling, bad play from the quarterback, bad play from the defense, all these things. But what you and I have been standing on with this team, Joel, is not compounding mistakes. And yesterday's game or Monday Night Football's game was a compounding mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. And there's so many things that we can point to, dog. But there's only a couple of things that really should worry the Dolphins fans. I'm wondering what you think the top 3 would be.
As far as what, right? What's your exact question? What's my 3 biggest worries right now?
Right now, we just lost to Tennessee 28-27. We were up 14 points with about 3 minutes left in the game. What are your 3 main concerns coming off this loss?
Should I start at 3 or 1? My third?
Go from 3 to 1.
All right. My third is going to be Mike McDaniel's inexperience in certain, playoff type moments, kind of like we saw yesterday.
Right.
We weren't really too happy with some of the plays that we saw called. And especially that last drive, or the penultimate drive, the one where we could have sealed the game had we just played for the first downs, play a couple of first downs, make them burn their timeouts, get past the 2-minute warning, and then we kneel the ball a couple of times, and we're out of there winners. We're good to go.
Okay.
We didn't see that.
No, we didn't.
We didn't see that.
What's your second thing?
Tua and his inconsistency, I would say, would be number 2.
Right? That's a heavy one.
That is a very big one, considering this is my guy. This is a guy I go to bat for, But seeing him, scrambling around, looking like a clumsy little, deer, brand new out of the womb, doesn't have footing underneath him, can't really get traction going.
Little Bambi.
And then, just kind of some of the questionable throws. He was throwing across the field to some guys yesterday. Yep. He almost had a couple, there was almost a couple interceptions, from defense. Luckily, their defense isn't great.
He hit that guy dead in the hands as the wide receiver continued to run the route towards the middle.
And he dropped it. Then he set up Waddle early in the game. He gave him a ball right across the middle where he got laid out, and he was out for a moment.
Did the same thing to Achane?
Did the same thing to Achane out on the flat. And it's like, there's certain things. It's like, that's starting to worry me the later we're getting into December here. So,
okay. Well, what's the main thing? Number 1.
The number 1 thing that concerns me and my biggest worry with this team right now is the health of our O-line.
Yeah.
Or the lack thereof.
That's fair.
We lost Connor Williams for the season, officially announced.
Torn
ACL. Yep. Liam Eichenberg replaces him at center. We saw the miss exchange, early on that cost us a fumble in yesterday's game. And we already are beat up. Robert Hunt, Austin Jackson, these guys already have issues. Already have injuries and stuff that they're dealing with, and we're heading into the toughest stretch of our literally toughest stretch of our season.
Yeah. And I think those are 3 very fair things, and I agree with, your points on them. My third biggest concern with this team after this loss, right, is the dependency on Tyreek Hill.
Damn.
We cannot continue to be a football team that depends on one guy to do the damn thing and allow for the space to be created for everybody else. Because what happens if Tyreek Hill goes really down for the rest of the season, or God forbid, knock on wood, he gets hurt next year, week 2, week 3. What do? Do we fold the season? Do we not have some type of contingency plan with the rest of the talent that's on this team?
Who else steps up?
Like, look how used to being the second guy Waddle is, right? That when he had to run those wide receiver 1 routes, he looked lost. No type of communication with Tua's. They weren't nowhere near the same page. Nothing. And the offense was fluttering fast. And we couldn't move the ball. The dependency on Hill for this offense has to be drastically lowered because there's enough here. And when we'll get to the running game later, there's enough here to make up for that. The second thing that worries me the most is the same thing that worries you the second most. Is Tua. Because the quarterback is everything in football, right? As far as on-field play. And if the quarterback is having a bad game, you can almost bet that everybody else on that offense is having a bad game. Or they would have to play outstanding to overcome somebody's bad play in the quarterback position. We saw it, Tua's bad throw timing. Those are things that you expect from somebody learning on the job. This is a man who's been in the main position. Now, granted, we're talking about an MVP quote unquote candidate, right? Because of the numbers and how well we've played up until this point. But when you look at the substance of how Tua is playing, right, and what it is that he's doing here, it could be better. Could be a lot better. And it's hard to go to bat for him, like you said, when he's doing those things to continually kill the argument that builds him up. And that hurt. And that is a big worry for me. Right? Because at some point, money's going to come into this situation where it's like, do we pay this man $40-50 million per year, or do we let him slide and figure something else out? And how that affects the rest of the organization in the next 5 years.
You don't think there's a couple organizations that are out there that would be happy to have Tua?
Absolutely. But they would be ultimately in that same boat, right? Where you have to make a big time decision on how much you're paying a quarterback like Tua. Look what happened to Tennessee with Ryan Tannehill. And there are a million examples. There are a million examples that we've seen over the course of the last 20 years of football, right? That we can point to and say, man, they made a bad decision on investing on this quarterback who they drafted, who maybe had a couple of good years, but never really broke out, never really had that it moment. Right? This was another opportunity to come back and win the game, an it moment game, right? He's never really had that except for Baltimore once. And again, it was a lot of help in that game from the rest of the guys playing. So yeah, there would be other teams that would want this guy, but they would be in the same predicament. My main concern is McDaniels and his inexperience and how bad it's showing right now in game. Because, we've harped a lot about Cristobal, right? And it's like, this dude doesn't know how to coach. He mismanages play calling, trusting. Mike McDaniels has his complete fingerprint. All of them, all telling them, dog, including his toes on this offense. So when it doesn't perform, it's very easy to see the guys on the field and be like, it's these guys. But when you look back at it and you look at the film and you look at the plays and you're looking at it on replay, you're like, damn. Why are we missing Braxton Berrios for an open first down? Why are we not putting more emphasis on the tight end position? Funny stat, I put it in the show notes. Combined, that entire tight end group, dog, has less than 25 catches this year, dog. Just shows you back to that thing of depending on wide receiver 1 to initiate the offense.
Well, shit, the prime example of that, I'm sorry to cut you off, was yesterday in the game. We talked about it on OnlyFans yesterday too. He goes out and we are lackluster. Like you said, Waddle couldn't achieve that wide receiver 1 separation that Tua finds comfort in. He was throwing erratically, trying to make things happen, going through all his progressions. Nothing was there.
Yeah.
The moment Tyreek Hill gets in, 2 consecutive plays back to back where he's wide open. Talking about 10 yards of separation between him and a defender where it's an easy decision, a confidence builder for Tua to go, here you go, guy. Nobody else was able to do that until he got back in the game.
Yep.
And then we take him out of the game at the end, and we're not able to generate anything else.
Back to square one. And then, that's why McDaniels is my number one worry, because he has to do a better job of recognizing of what's happening in the game, Joel. You know what I mean? Where it's like, yo, this shit's not working. Let's run the ball, dog. We're averaging 6 yards a carry here. Let's run it until they kill us. Let's run it. Run it on third down. Run it on 4th and 1. But let's run the ball, because everything else they're expecting. And again, if you don't have that explosiveness on the outside, why are we throwing to the outside? Screens, at least. At least let the dude run the route. Cedric Wilson actually had a couple opportunities, made some good catches, made some good plays, right? But that's a guy that we haven't seen enough of in an entirety of his time here as a Miami Dolphin.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Right? Chase Claypool. We pick him up, big body receiver, a guy that we could be using in the red zone within 10 yards where you throw it up and you let him grab it. Hasn't seen the field. You telling me this man doesn't know how to catch? You telling me this guy doesn't know how to run a fly route or jump route? Obviously not. Play calling. We're doing the little screen where the guy is in motion and Tyreek is coming and it's a quick pitch to.
Like you just said, I just thought about right now that little the fade to the end zone.
Yeah,
that Tyreek,
the wheel route fade.
That that could have been, instead of Tyreek, who's hurt, throw in Chase Claypool, who's the tallest guy out there, at 6'4" or whatever, and can get up there and give him a chance. I mean,
or even throw that ball to Waddle, right? Who's going up against a second cornerback, third cornerback, a favorable matchup for him. Again, the emphasization of focusing on one person kills me. Because if I see it on TV, guess what? These guys have game plan for it. And Tennessee put that game plan out on fucking notebook perfectly with little bullet points, highlighted sections, cliff notes, everything, dog. And now here we are, 9-4, losing an opportunity to win another big game on primetime, where the national narrative is Miami cannot win big games. And what's crazy, dog, is that tonight we're gonna watch it on not Hard Knocks, but Mike McDaniels has talked about it before, where he comes out like, well, we have opportunities and we're gonna come out here and we got chances to win games and we're gonna go out there and change the narrative of what, and we haven't seen it, dog. You can coach it up and say it all you want. At some point, the rubber needs to meet the road, and you need to get it going, dog.
What did McDaniels have to say about this loss? Did you see anything in the?
Well, again, he took it as an opportunity to learn from it, to have the guys feel the sting of losing like that, using that as motivation in a short week to face the Jets. How that loss isn't going to define the season because we have another opportunity to. But that's just coach talk, especially after a loss on Monday night, dog. And you have to get rid of that bullshit stench of that loss quickly. Right? In order to focus on your next opponent, because it's a divisional game and you need to win that divisional game in order to cement your position, right? In the AFC East, number one, and then number two overall in the AFC, and keep pace with that group.
We got 4 games left. We play Jets next. So we're 2 games ahead of Buffalo. If we win, we're still 2 games ahead with 3 games left. And then we play the Cowboys.
Correct.
If we beat the Cowboys and they win, we're still 2 games ahead with, that Buffalo, it's going to come down to that Buffalo game. That Buffalo game is going to be like literally another playoff game.
And we have no idea how we're even going to show up to that Buffalo game.
We don't know who's going to be healthy.
And it sucks to say it, Joel, but we're back to this, or at least for me, right? I'm back to the original core of me being a Dolphins fan, where it's like, all right, now we're in December. Here comes another opportunity for you guys to prove me wrong. You have an opportunity, the Dolphins, to prove me wrong as a Dolphins fan, for me to tell somebody else and be like, I told you so, dog. This is same old Dolphins. Or the hype is cool in September and October, and then shit starts to change in November, and now we're in December, and it's like, whoa, who really are we? A lot of questions being asked about us. How does the team feel? Are they still galvanized and together as a unit? We don't know. But we're back to this position that's very familiar for Dolphins fans. You know, and Rax harps on it all the time. Like, damn, dog, are we really going to throw this season away again after being so raw? That can't be right, dog. That can't be right. And look, we're seeing the results, you know. And other teams that are contenders have lost, right? We've seen other teams lose. We've seen the Chiefs lose to the Bills lose to whoever. You know, Baltimore has been being. It's the NFL.
They had
it's the NFL.
They were supposed to lose that game. They won in overtime.
It's the NFL. You're gonna lose games, but more importantly, is like how you lose those games and how you bounce back.
That's the main thing,
right? How you lose those games and how you bounce back from that loss. More importantly than continuing, let's say, 2 wins in a row. How you bounce back from a loss says a lot more about your team. And I don't know about you, Doug, but for me, this game is like really, really important. Probably more important than that Buffalo game.
The Jets game you're talking about?
Yeah. Because if we don't win this game, Joel, Doug, that makes that Buffalo game even like a bigger long shot.
For right now, that is the main objective.
Right?
We got to win at home, bounce back at home, which we were playing really well at home up until those last 3 minutes that we let the Titans get back in and then win.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to get back to that, and we need to get ready for the next 3 hardest games of our season. It doesn't get any easier, bro. That's the worst part, because we're every week the task just gets harder.
And we have to, again, we have to find a way to change the narrative, dog. If not, then as Dolphins fans, we have to relinquish like any thought of being like, yo, this team is always going to be is close to being a real deal team.
Never.
Because if this happens again, I'm not saying it is going to happen again, but if it does happen again, like, how do we properly, analyze that to be like, all right, was it a fluke? Did we fall? Did we crumble? Is it this? Is it that? But that's very familiar for Dolphins fans. And it's always in a negative light.
We still got a lot of time left, man.
We do, dog.
We control our own destiny is the biggest thing. So, Jets this week, bro, at home. We got to bounce back.
Yeah. And look, that's already, I said it. It's going to be a tough game. Looking at the spread right now, it's 8.5 for the Dolphins. I don't know. That Jets defense is good. They have some playmakers out there. They probably saw what Tennessee did and say, you know what, we can be physical like Tennessee is.
Do we have Tyreek?
Do we have
Holland?
Who plays on the offensive line and where?
Do we have Armstead? Do we have, who knows?
Well, look, I was listening to Joe Rose and Omar Kelly this morning, and, Omar Kelly's involved with the Dolphins and has a lot of guys and connects there, and he said that Armstead might not play. There's a good chance he doesn't play because they're trying to save him for the bigger games, which some part of me agrees with that. Like, this is our big money guy. Like, if we can win this game without this dude, let's do it. But if not, I don't know. I don't know. A lot of questions right now being asked of the Dolphins, man.
Doesn't feel good right now.
No. And if you haven't watched OnlyFans and you want to get into that deep hurt, go watch that episode. Trust me, you're not going to be disappointed.
A lot of raw emotion in that.
A lot of raw emotion in there, dog. A lot of raw emotion. Yeah, let's see what happens. Let's try to get this dub against the Jets. Now, it's time to talk about a team who is also kind of inconsistent, but weirdly still finds ways to win games, dog. And it's ugly the way they win games. And I don't like saying that about basketball teams, but our Miami Heat, bro, they're really riding, I don't know, man. Like, I want to call it energy and just playing with effort, but the wins have not been convincing at all, dog.
I got 2 words for you, homie.
What's that?
Bam Adebayo.
Well, I got 2 more words for you. Busted parlays. No, I'm kidding.
No, but it's Bam, dog. Bam has been hurt. He's been out for the last 4 games now, is it? I don't even know how many games it's been. It's like 4 or 5 now, and it's a whole different team out there, man. And we don't know. It's the roll of the dice. when we don't have Bam. We don't know who's going to step up or who's not going to step up for that matter.
And the thing with Bam is like, you know how important he is to this team because of what he can provide to the team, right? Offensively and defensively. And when he went out early in that game against the Pacers, like we felt the immediate impact. Like it felt like the energy was completely sucked out of the team when we ended up losing that game. We get smoked 144 to 129. But then, you know, you go out there and you win 2 out of your next 3. You beat Toronto. You lose an ugly game to Cleveland, and you come back and you bounce back against Charlotte. But it's losing double-digit leads in the third and fourth quarters, right? It's going cold for long stretches of minutes on the game, and where we're talking about the Heat are 0 for 6 in the last 3.5 minutes, and you're like, what the hell? And now it turns into haven't been scored in the last 5 minutes. You know, those are runs that the Heat can't afford, and they know that. And the I don't want to say that the fact, but like the perception that they're not trying to make different things or play different people and have Spo try different lineups kind of tells a lot about how much this team is at a status quo as far as who we got and who can do what for us.
Yeah. We're seeing basically the same shit, bro, every night. And then it just sometimes we win, sometimes we get lucky, sometimes we don't. The first one I want to talk about was the game against the Toronto game was a good game. We won that game. Caleb Martin had 24. Yeah. That was a good game.
Career high in rebounds, 12.
We were leading pretty much, I think, the whole time. You know what I mean? Like, that's what we want to see. So it's like, all right, you feel good about that. On the road, we have that kind of win. Great. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to play Cleveland at home where we dominate.
Yeah.
Okay. We know Cleveland. We know Cleveland. We know storyline there. Donovan Mitchell signed there. You know, we didn't get Mitchell. He's been doing good. You know, Cleveland's doing well in the East. They come to us, and then the first half is a battle, dog. It's a battle the whole first half.
You know what bothered me the most about that game, Joel, is like they came out in the second half flat. Completely flat. And that's a game that you're like, all right, dude, maybe this is a team that we're playing in the first round. Maybe this is a team that we're playing in the play-in tournament in order to advance. How are we going to attack this type of offense? Like, how are we going to D up their best player? And granted, we don't have Bam in the game, but like, still, you're not going to put Bam on Spider the whole game. Obviously not. We still have our best defenders out there, which is Caleb, that we would throw up on any of those type of matchups. And he was getting cooked. And we had no answer for them in the third quarter. He dropped 11 points. They went on a 15-0 run in that third quarter. It was like, again, the destruction of the Heat, when it happens quickly, and the Heat never recover. Like once we go down, it's like, shit, we're down 8. Wrap it up, boys. There goes the effort. You know, we tried. You know, let's save it for tomorrow.
Frustrating, dog.
Yeah.
It's like you just don't think that, like, once we're down, it's like you really don't think we have a good chance of coming back.
Never.
Not with this squad right now, especially without Bam.
Never. And even with Bam, because this team isn't good enough, right, as far as star players, big moment type players, as is. So if you add Bam and add Tyler, we still wouldn't be necessarily the favorites, quote unquote, to win a big game, right? We probably wouldn't be the favorite if we're playing a team like the Bucks, the Celtics, you know what I mean, something of that nature. But if you're talking about competing against teams like Cleveland, like Charlotte, then we did the next night when we got the win, those are games that you would dominate. And at no point in these games, in these 3 games, like we won 2 out of 3, can we say that we dominated? There was one game where Duncan went off, and that was the Charlotte game. You know what I mean? He hit 5 threes. He was really on fire that night. You know, Kevin Love came off the bench, had 19 points, had a really good night.
But even still, that was a game where we were winning the whole game, and then we let them get back in it at the very end.
All the way from us having the double-digit point lead all the way down to where we're struggling, literally running it to the last 15 seconds of the game.
And win by 2.
To win by 2 off of miss. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, it's not fun. Number one, it's not enjoyable, right? And it says a lot about this team. It says a lot about what's missing on this team. You know, for me, I just think it highlights or points out how much this team needs scoring and how much scoring Tyler Hero provides that doesn't get noticed or talked about enough. People want to say that he's a volume shooter or scorer, whatever. But guess what, dog? On this team, we need somebody to put in buckets.
So what is the word on the streets about Tyler Hero?
The word on the street is that he's still hurt.
I mean, I got that, dog, but give me a timeline.
No,
like,
there hasn't been anything yet, dog. There hasn't been anything, dog. There hasn't been. And look, you know, while we were chilling with Jason, shout out to HQ Golf, man. While we were chilling, you know what I mean, and we were talking, I was looking at rumors and stuff like that and seeing if there's any updates, and I haven't seen anything on Tyler Hero coming back. What I have seen is how raw Jaime Jaquez has been playing for us.
Amazing.
This dude is shooting over 50% from the field, over
like
40% from three. Like,
he looks like a veteran.
And he shows up every game. He shows up every game. He's not going to score 20 points every night, have 20 rebounds, 13 rebounds. He's not going to do that. But he's going to show you, like, hey, here's what I have, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and I'm going to bring that to you every single game. Every single game. There have been very few games when you look at his game log where it's like, damn, Jaimes, you sucked here. Very few games. And this is a rookie. Granted, a fourth-year senior, so he's not no 18-year-old, 19-year-old punk, right?
Still, bro.
But this is a rookie coming in and putting in big minutes and big production, you know, within those minutes to help off the bench to help a veteran-laden team. Bro. A veteran-laden team.
He is very impressive so far through these 2 months that we've seen.
Yeah.
It's been very impressive, and I'm not worried about him, bro. It's Duncan.
Yeah,
it's Duncan that I'm worried about, bro. Duncan, you know, in that game going back, that game against once again
the Cleveland game.
The Cavs, cold as shit.
Cold.
Then he's not hitting, and then on defense he's a liability. So then we were forced to take you out because they're scoring and running up the score so much on us that we need to put somebody else that's more defensively sound. So not only do we lose. You know, we have to take you out because of that, but we lose your 3-point threat to get back in it.
The thing is with Duncan, right? Like, yeah, he leads the team in 3-point percentage at 42.6, right? Which is really good, right? You want to be around that above 40 for sure, and around that 43 and above percentage. But I feel like that with Duncan, it comes in like little waves, right? And it hasn't been like, yo, this dude's on a hot streak for 4 straight games where he's 50% from three in every single game that he's played in the last 4 games. It hasn't been that yet. And can he reach that? Yeah, because I've seen him do it before, but he's been one of the guys who has been standing out as far as consistency goes, right? And we kind of have to realize what our expectations are with Duncan Robinson, right? Keep shooting the threes. If you're shooting it at the highest clip that you can shoot it on the team, more power to you. But even though you're doing that and you're putting the ball on the floor at a better rate, you're finishing at the basket at a better rate, all this stuff, you need to do that consistently. And the moment you don't, it looks bad because it's like, damn, now you're getting picked on defensively. I think that the Heat have to find a way to put consistent performances together. And they have to find a way to rally together and figure out what the real identity of this team is going to be, right? Is it going to be an all defense all the time team? Are we going to try to shoot threes? Are we going to be a team that works in the paint? Are we going to try to be a team that shoots in numbers? What are we going to do? And as much as Spo can try to say, guys, try to do this, do that, it really comes down to the players. Showing up for work and playing in games, right? Like, unless you have a major injury like Bam or Tyler, you shouldn't be taking days off, right? Jimmy missed one of those 2-3 games, one of those 3 games that we played in this stretch. Be available, go out there, play hard, and figure out a way to be consistent. That's the only way that this team is going to find success in the manner that it wants it to. If we're talking about stacking wins, we went on that little run early on in the season to help us boost up in the rankings. But since then, we have been very inconsistent. You know what I mean? In our last 7 games, we've lost 5 of those games. So right now the Heat are hanging around at 13-10, above 500. Yeah, that's cool. And everybody else around us is within 2 games. No problem. But where is the consistent winning? you can't be a team that flounders and goes up and down in the rankings, up and down in the standings to be like, damn, we're gonna be there in the end. Don't worry, just get us into the playoffs. I'm sick of that shit. We need to find some type of consistency. Let's make a run. Let's get some wins in a row. You know what I mean? Let's put a winning streak together. And we have plenty of opportunities to do it. We have 4 straight games coming up at home. 4 straight games coming up at home. You telling me we can't go 3-1? This team is that bad that you gotta hope you go 2-2? No way, dog. No way. I can't be crazy for saying going 3-1 on a home game, Strand. You know what I mean? Like,
nah. But we need Bam. That's what I gotta say about that.
I don't know, man. Bam. He's not coming. I mean,
we're a different team. When granted, without Hero, you know what I mean. It's tough too because we're still missing something. You know, we're better with Hero,
yes,
as well. But you know, then you take out. It's like taking out Jimmy. You know what I mean? Like you remove, and Jimmy's been another one that's been a little lackluster this year too. He's been a little underwhelming.
A lot.
You know,
a lot
really
for me.
Not putting it out there. You know, and granted, these are early games. These are early in season games, and he might just be seeing where the seeds are falling, and he's just like we've talked about before. You know, he might just be like, hey, I just got to get into that 7-8 seed, and I'll be able to fight my way out. Either way, I got to go through those guys anyways. But I don't know. I hope that we go 3 out of 4, like you said. And, you can give one up. Hopefully, we win all 4 of them. Shit. But I'm sure that's a tough opponent in that 4. Who's the 4?
The 4 are Charlotte. We're playing them tonight by the time you guys are hearing this, right? So that'll be back-to-back wins that we can get.
Yep.
Bam traveled, right, to Charlotte on Monday with the team. He didn't play. So there's a chance that he plays either Wednesday night, like I said at the time of the recording, that you guys are listening to this, or he'll play that next game against Chicago on Thursday.
Okay, Charlotte,
right?
Chicago,
and then we play Chicago again on Saturday.
Wow.
Right? Weird how we do that back-to-back. We had that back-to-back. I don't know, man. That's part of the NBA doing
Pacers.
Yes, but that's part of we did it with the Pacers and we did it with the Bulls, but that's part of the NBA doing it to limit the travel time. You get what I'm saying? Like, hey, stay in the same city for 3-4 days. You don't have to travel. You guys can hang out here. Less wear and tear on the body.
True. Okay.
They're trying it out. Let's see how it looks weird, feels hella weird. As far as seeing it on the schedule. But I'm guessing it works logistically for them.
Makes sense.
But Chicago is 9-13. That's a bad team. Struggling. You know what I mean? They're struggling.
There's talks about one of their players
getting hurt. Yeah, you know what I mean?
The trade possibly.
We talked about that. I saw that Pascal Siakam is being rumored to be available. A guy that the Heat are looking into. OG Anunoby. He was a guy that was in that Bam draft that a lot of people were pointing to be a Heat type of player, and he got drafted by Toronto. Let's see. Let's see, man. Let's see. They can win those games against Chicago, but then at the end of that home game stand, you're playing Minnesota on Monday night. Minnesota's number 1 in the West right now, dog. They're 17-5. 7-4 record on the road. Probably looking to improve that to be 8-4, 9-4 by the time they get
guys
here.
Were that good?
Yeah, they're killing it. They're killing it. So when you think of that tough matchup, how are you going to get into that tough matchup? Are you going to win against the battered teams and build up some confidence and at least win 3 games or 4 games in a row before you face Minnesota? If you're a good team that has aspirations to be a contender, you have to show some type of mettle and win these games at home. You just have to, dog. And look, do it for the fans. Real shit, do it for the fans. There are fans going out there paying money, right? Paying God knows how much tolls to get down there, how much parking, a beer, a drink.
A water.
Lord help you if you take a date out there. You're spending at least $200.
You're dropping some good dough.
You know what I mean? So like,
you could buy a house back in the 1910s.
Go out there and put some hustle out there, dog. Put some hustle out there. We want to see the type of effort that Hawkins is playing with. I need that type of energy to come from our main guys. You know what I mean? I need our main guys to be playing like that. Yeah, and not necessarily like throwing themselves on the court or shit like that, but like, where's that vibe? Where's that energy? Where's that belief, that confidence?
We need a rejuvenation.
I mean, we're an older team as far as other key players. You know, you're looking at Jimmy. He's getting up there in age. We know how old Kevin Love is. Kyle Lowry's up there. Josh Richardson is up there in age. You know, not super old, but for his position, you know, he's got a long tooth there, right? Yeah, man. Even Duncan. Duncan's not as young as he was when he got here, right? With us. Now he's a guy who's a little bit older, a little bit more established in his ways, and also carries a big dollar sign. So, yeah. Are you going to be able to match the hunger of a guy like Jaquez Jr., right? Who's playing for everything. And he just recently came out saying that he wanted to come down here to the Heat, dog.
Love that.
Come on, man.
We need more of those.
We need that. That's what we need.
We need 4 more of him.
That's what we need. That's what we need.
Sizes.
Let's see. Let's get some more pizza mañana. Keep it rolling. And we'll keep ordering the Papa John's. Holla at your boy.
Let me tell you, though, the other day I did get it. And boy, it was dog shit.
Damn, cuz what you get?
They just prepped it so bad. It was like they didn't put any love into it, bro.
On, man.
I don't know what it was.
Do better.
I think it was Carroll City, honestly. I think I got it from the Carroll City Papa John's.
You slipped.
I got to try again because I wasn't too happy with it.
I'm going to try a shakaroni soon. Just don't tell my girl. She's not listening to this right now.
All right, for sure. What we got on deck next, so?
We got the Panthers. Them boys are hot. They're riding a 3-game winning streak, unlike the Heat. You know what I'm saying? Little brother showing big brother how it's done. Panthers, man, that's a team that we asked a lot for, right? And say, hey, show us that old school Panthers vibe. Put a winning streak together and be one of the best teams like we know that you can be. And lo and behold, man, the Panthers have really been doing it. That 3-game winning streak has helped propel them into one of the top 3 teams in the East Conference, not just the Atlantic Division, right, that they're in, the entire conference. Only ahead of them are the New York Rangers and the Boston Bruins, right, who we've gone to battle twice and come up short. Yep. And even still, we're only 2 points or 3 points behind those guys. So, like, you know, they're up on 39 points. Panthers are up around 36 points. They're really looking like the Panthers of old.
Yeah, but we also had in this stretch, too, and not to knock it at all, but, you know, home ice advantage.
Yes.
You know, we had a couple of home games there and then a couple of subpar opponents, you know, a couple of guys that are very beatable. And we went out there and we did just that. You know, we went out and we won those games.
Yeah.
I think we did have one against Dallas, who's a little bit tougher of those opponents or whatever. And that was a pretty high scoring game.
Dallas is a good team, man. Dallas is a good team, bro.
We ended up with the dub in that one, even though that one was a little bit of a battle.
Yeah.
I was like 5-4.
Yeah,
they scored like three goals in a period.
And it was a high-scoring game. And look, that's a team, you mentioned Dallas, dog. That's a team that's really trying to battle for the West. You know, those guys are only about 6-8 points behind right now, the number 1 seed, which is pretty much a 3-game winning streak.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, like, that's a team that's in it as opposed to, like, the rest of the East, right, where it's pretty much a jumble and you got a lot of teams that are jockeying for position to be the better teams. But the Panthers, in being able to hang with a team like Dallas and score as much as they did, shows that they have the talent and have the experience, more importantly, especially in the goals, right, at the goal between the pipes with Big Bob there. But they have the experience to close out games. And that was what they needed to do because Dallas was putting that pressure on them. I was watching that game and I'm like, holy shit, they're going to tie this and we're going to go to overtime. But the Panthers, being the more experienced team, was able to close down the game, close up shop, and ultimately walk away with the victory there. And then they bounce, you know, they ride that wave and go out there and just dominate a bad Pittsburgh team, you know. That was their 4th loss in a row, and they just handled their business, man. You know, pretty much handled the business from start to end.
Yeah, we had that game in the bag.
Yeah, man, they didn't. I think we scored in the first, went 0-0 in the second period, and then Barkov hit an empty netter in the third period to wrap it up.
Yeah, they were down, and you know they tried to rally, and we just capitalized.
And again, another big performance from Big Bob, 26 saves. You know what I mean? To really make an impact on a game and be like, you know what? No goals. We just had a big 9-goal game. Let's tone it down a little bit and really step up to the plate. And he even did that the next night against Columbus, right? He only allowed 2 goals, where the Panthers walk away with a 5-2 win against the Columbus team. Like you said, they're a bad team, but when you're a good team, you have to beat up on the lesser opponents. And the Panthers have been doing that. And that's kind of been their success story, right? Be really dominant at home and carry that momentum to help you on the road and get a couple of big wins, because it's hard to win on the road consistently.
Yeah, they capitalized in that game on the power play too, which was good to see.
Absolutely, bro. And when they do that, Joel, dog, you know what's funny is like we hardly paid attention to the power play stats, right? Until it started to be like the main thing that was killing the Panthers. And now when we do see it, it's like, all right, I can see how that correlates to the success of the team. And it doesn't necessarily happen for every team, because there are some teams that, like the Kings, they win a lot of games without even getting power play goals. They're just getting a lot of goals in open play, which is, really good for them. Some teams have to rely on having that extra man advantage multiple times within a game, right? And beat up a bad team like the Islanders. They're the team leading the league in penalty minutes, and they give up goals left and right. I think they're averaging about 4 goals given up per game. So imagine that. And the Panthers are far from that, right? That's a team that's really defensively sound.
Yeah, much more disciplined.
And much more disciplined. It goes back to that experience I was talking about earlier. That little gnat is killing us.
Killing us, dog. The whole show. I don't know if you guys can see it. I got a fly in the room, and he's just been bugging us. If you see me literally, my eyes wandering, it's just me chasing him with my eyes.
Literally, man. Look, and even with that win against Columbus, bro, it just improved their standing, and it allows them to win games, not tie games. And they were in their last 7 games, they improved to 5-2 for the Panthers. Those are the type of things that make me have more belief in them and be like, damn, that's the team that I'm going to see later on in the year. They may go up, they may go down, but at least I can tell what the core of that team is. Defensively sound, and they can put up goals. With the Heat, I don't know what I'm getting on most nights. You know what I mean? It could be a great night of defense. It could be a great night of offense. It could be sometimes good, sometimes shit.
Sometimes might be good. Yeah, dog. We don't know. We don't know.
We don't know, man. We don't know. But look, they got a road trip.
Ebbs and flows, man. Ebbs and flows.
They got a road trip starting tonight while we're recording out in Seattle, a late night game. Before they go back on a Canadian tour, they're going up to Vancouver.
Kraken's good too, aren't they? Aren't they?
They're up there, bro. No? That's the team that you can't. They're really good at home. They suck on the road, but they're really good at home. So the Panthers got to go out there and put in that work tonight.
Road win would be big then.
Big road win, and then follow that into Vancouver on Thursday, get another road win, right? And then go to Edmonton Saturday night. Play them, finish up in Calgary on Monday while we come back to record. And Seattle is struggling on the road, but they're going to be at home. Vancouver's playing well. There's one of those teams that are really in it, fighting for positioning in the conference. Edmonton is also fighting for position. Calgary is one of those tough teams that can come and get you, right? Those are teams that I've seen on the betting app, like, oh, they're down 2 goals and now they've tied it. What the fuck? I should have took this game.
Yeah.
And those are teams that on paper you look at it and you're like, yeah, the Panthers should win this game, have an advantage. But being on the road, we've seen Panthers teams crumble before. We've seen them struggle before. We need to see them just be 500 on the road because they're back to being their dominant selves back at home. Yeah. You know what I mean? So go out there.
500 on the road is perfectly reasonable.
Especially starting with a struggling team like Seattle. Right. Go out there, beat them on their home ice, build a little bit of momentum. You're coming off, you're still on a winning streak. Head into Vancouver and see what happens on Thursday before the weekend comes about. Vamos Gatos, man.
Let's go Cats.
Vamos Gatos, man. We're getting close to the end of the show, dog, but let's do a little bit of honorable mention,
what
dog.
What you got for me, dog?
Got a big fight. Got a big fight in the UFC this weekend, dog. UFC 296, Leon Edwards versus Colby Covington for the welterweight title of the world.
Welterweight, baby. This is going to be a good fight.
Absolutely, man. And Edwards is fucking riding a 3-fight win streak. Actually, he's won 4 out of his last 5 fights. That 5th fight was a no decision. He got knee in the head, disqualification. And he was ahead in that fight as well. So he probably would have won that fight and would have been riding a 5-fight win streak, which is crazy in the UFC, dog.
Yeah, but ever since he beat Kamaru for the title the first time around with that leg kick, he's just been on
headshot, bang.
Been on a tear.
Yeah. And beat Usman right after that as well, handily beat Usman to defend his title.
That first one was a good fight, so it was like, you know what, you got to give the former champ a chance, and then it was a done deal again. Yeah,
and for me, when it comes to fighting, dog, I think that the dudes that, you're gonna lose, you're gonna win, but as long as you're not getting knocked out, as long as you're not getting knocked out, you're in a rhythm of fighting, right? Because you're fighting twice, maybe 3 times a year. You're getting called up if somebody goes down in your division on a short notice, so you're probably staying ready, staying in fight shape all the time. On the opposite side of Edwards, right? Because this guy's obviously been fighting. He's the champ. He's been very hot, consistent. On the other side, we got a guy coming in Colby that hasn't fought since 2022, March of 2022. And now he's jumping into a ring with a guy who's full of confidence, proven in that division, a legit champion, and probably feels a lot of confidence heading into his fight. I have no idea what type of shape Colby's going to come into. His last fight was against Masvidal. Looked all right. Didn't really beat Masvidal. Just kind of like wrestled him a bit and walked away with the decision. But I don't think he has anything that's like a threat besides just being in front of Edwards. You know what I mean?
So we expect an ass whooping from Edwards, is what you're saying.
I think that if Edwards plays it smart, right, he'll know he can get the decision easily over Colby, right? He's not going to be able to out wrestle him. He's not going to be able to outstrike him. And if he gets too wild, he can fuck around and get knocked out, because we've seen Edwards knock out a bunch of people, whether it's by punching them or by kicking them. I think that Edwards probably tries to get a knockout early in the first 2 rounds, especially if Colby comes out crazy. And then if not, if it reaches the 3rd round, he's going to be like, you know what, I'm going to coast. I'm going to try to submit this dude. I'm going to try to take him down and beat him down this way, walk away with my title, see what's next. For Colby, I think he has to do like, bro, number one, you have the job of putting on a great performance, right? So you either got to go out on your shield or go out and win with a bang. Right? Because you're a guy who hasn't fought in 2 years. People think that you don't deserve this shot. Now you're fighting the champ. Haven't even fought nobody in the top 5. Coming out of nowhere to get a title shot. I don't know. You got to find a way to make this fight impressive. And how do you make it impressive? You go out there and you knock out the champion and you win the title, right? Or you go out there and you kick him in the head or something like that. Like, you do something drastic to win the fight.
Come out with a flying knee. Yeah,
you have to do something, right? A la Masvidal. But you have to do something to come out here and really impress, especially leading a pay-per-view card, right? And there's another championship fight in Pantoja who beat, I think, Chito Vera to get the title. And this is a dude who is a big name. So imagine if you don't put on that performance, you lose pay-per-view credits, you don't make as much money as you would have had you performed better. I don't know. Colby has a lot riding on this fight, dog. A lot more than Edwards, I feel like, because if Edwards were to lose, he would fight one more time and then boom, right back, if not immediate rematch for the title. If Colby loses, it's like UFC is done for you, Papa. Go fight in the PFL or Fight Force or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I can see that. I can definitely see that. What about undercards? Any other undercards besides those 2 main championship fights?
No.
Is this one with Patty on there?
Patty's on there. He's fighting a fucking super old Tony Ferguson who's been knocked out a couple of times his last 3 fights. Like,
I saw that. I thought
that's an ugly fight, man.
Weird fight.
Yeah, I don't like that fight. Steve Wonderboy Thompson is fighting.
That's right, Wonderboy's on
Rakhimov. He's a good contender that's up and coming, and both of those guys are good contenders for that welterweight division. Probably feel like they have a better legit claim than Colby does to that title shot. And then, like you mentioned, you got Tony Ferguson versus Patty Pimbleton. And you know who else is fighting on that card? Cody Garbrandt, dog. He's still getting fights. He's going to be on the prelims, though.
That's an exciting fighter.
But he's an exciting fighter. Should be good. Josh Emmett versus Brian Mitchell. That's also going to be a good fight. They're headlining the prelims. Yeah.
Saturday, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, Saturday night, UFC 296, Edwards Covington. Watch it, because your boy SoSo's going to be watching it. Real quick, I wanted to ask you, dog, before we wrap up.
Talk to me.
I saw this article today on ESPN where golfers, a certain amount of golfers, 21 golfers, I believe, sent a letter to the PGA Tour seeking transparency on the PIF deals. Do you know anything about that? What have you heard? What do you think is going on in there?
I don't know shit about that, but that's part of the, what got the PGA Tour in hot water in the first place, and they had to settle and merge with LIV was the fact that they didn't want to disclose certain, and reveal certain documents and information.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some shady shit out there going on.
Which is crazy because we saw Rahm, right, jump on over to LIV. There's a lot of rumors. There was rumors about Tony Finau jumping over as well. And Rory coming out with his comments. So there's a lot of shady shit happening. Fred Couples, a lot of shady shit happening behind the doors. And it seems like only a select few people of golfers, you know what I mean? The who's who of the club really know what's happening. And even still.
And that's how it's always been.
Still kind of shady, right?
Completely, bro. But yeah, the bigger news is the move from John Rahm. That's the biggest news in the golf world recently. $600 million is the rumored deal. Oof. Who knows how much more it could potentially be, or how much less, whatever. But it is stunning, to see one of the best, if not arguably the number one golfer in the world at any given point in any tournament, the current Masters champion, to go over to live after criticizing it, based off the PGA Tour's rhetoric and what, they were, pushing and all that stuff. And now he jumped ship, he's being criticized for chasing the money and all that stuff. And he said that wasn't real golf. That wasn't a real tournament, that wasn't a real league or whatever. And now he's on that side. So let's go live.
Weird. And it's weird.
Live tournaments just got that much more exciting to go to, though.
I mean, yeah, for sure, right? Because they're attracting names, right? Bigger names. And the fact that they're even in rumors with like a lot of the, let's say, tier 1A guys, not necessarily tier 1B guys, not necessarily tier 1A guys, the Tony Finau's and in that category, right? Like once you start dropping those type of guys, it's like, man, those are guys that probably the PGA really relies on because those guys are going to 80% of the tournaments, right? Like in Hawaii and Puerto Rico and all these other ones where other big name guys may be skipping those and really just hitting the big tournaments to get bigger prizes or whatever. Weird what's happening right now in golf, man. Weird times right now for golf.
I'm here for all of it, bro.
Absolutely,
I love it.
bro.
It's like one big soap opera for shit I care about.
Absolutely, man. But you know what? It's getting to be that time. We got to get ready for that Panthers West Coast game.
It's that time. Damn, God, those late games kill me.
Me. That's why I got to take a nap right now and tell a friend to tell a friend.
To tell another friend.
To tell another friend about this amazing podcast that we're bringing you on a weekly basis, man. We got Sports with SoSo podcast coming out every week. OnlyFans coming to you after Dolphins game. Man, Fight Rewinds. What else do you want from us? I don't know what else you want from us.
Hey, you're going to get consistency out of this duo.
Absolutely. And we're going to be at the Hard Rock in February for another BKFC event. Woo, it's going to be fire. It's going to be fire. You're going to have to tune in for that one, man. Until next time, it's your boy So. Peace.